Welcome back to the Scoop College Basketball Podcast. We are back for another conference preview, and today we are previewing the Conference USA, which is a different conference than it was last year. But just on Ken Palm ratings, before we get into new teams, it was ranked the 10th strongest conference last year. It's predicted as the 11th strongest conference, so not a huge drop off in the preseason Ken Palm ratings. But yeah,
11th?
lots of
You really
new
think
teams.
11th?
That's what Ken Palm thinks.
I think it's a bit
Um,
high. I definitely
yeah,
think.
I do. The teams they brought in are pretty respectable, though, some of them at least. But the teams they lost, FAU is obviously very good. North Texas, UAB, Charlotte, and Rice and UTSA. And the teams they brought, those teams all left for the AAC. The teams they brought in are New Mexico State and Sam Houston State from the WAC, and Liberty and Jacksonville State from the ASUN. So a different little conference. I believe Kennesaw State will be joining them next year.
I think so. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so they'll be up to 10.
Got to win the
I
ASUN
believe.
this year. Eastern Kentucky,
Um,
sadly. But
yeah, but yeah, there's only one all conference member returning to the same conference. But looking at the all conference guys from last year, Denver Jones transferred to Auburn, Tyler Perry transferred to Kansas State, Jelly Walker exhausted eligibility, and Elijah Martin and John L. Davis are both back at FAU, but they are no longer in Conference USA. On the second team, Bryce Williams transferred to Nebraska, Eli Lawrence transferred to Texas A&M, Max Fiedler is back at Rice, but not in Conference USA. And Quincy Oliveri and Davion McKnight both are off to Xavier. On the third team, Vlad Golden back at FAU, not back in the conference. Isaiah Crawford is the one returner. He is back at Louisiana Tech. Abu Usman is transferred to Xavier as well. Three Conference USA all conference guys transferred to Xavier.
Xavier
It
exited.
works. Yeah, but Trey Jemison exhausts eligibility, and Jamarian Sharp is off to Ole Miss. A few new coaches in the league. Jason Hooten is taking over at New Mexico State, actually coming from Sam Houston State. He is trying to follow up that aftermath of a disaster with some trying to get them back on the right track because New Mexico
Greg,
State is a program with
Greg
lots of
Hire.
potential. Yeah, Greg Hire was that was quite the experiment. But yeah, Sam Houston State brought in assistant Chris Mudge is going to keep the program running close to what it was. He's been there for a while working with Hooten, so I don't have any super concerns about him like just imploding the program. Not like Greg Hire. Um, but Steve Lutz, Western Kentucky, is replacing Rick Stansbury, which is a great hire. And
Elite.
Stansbury, as much as Stansbury could recruit, he didn't was not good at actually turning that talent into winning.
He was an awful in-game coach.
Yes. But moving forward to our personal all conference teams, um, let's see. I guess I didn't really pick a player. My player of the year might be Brandon Newman.
I was leaning that way, but I'm gonna go with Arturo Dean.
That was I had my first team as well. He could be really
He's
good.
gonna
I just
put
don't
up.
think
He's
I just
gonna
don't
put
think
up
FIU is going to be that
numbers.
good though.
Yeah, they'll be okay. I watched a lot of FIU last year. I don't hate them as much as others. They started to play really well in the second half of the
Yeah.
season. Um, but we'll see. I think they'll be respectable enough to where if he puts up like clear cut best numbers in the conference, I think he'll get the nod. But we'll see.
Okay.
It's him or
Yeah.
Newman, obviously, for
Yeah.
me.
Dean is really good on both sides of the ball. Was freshman year in the conference. Was on the all defensive team. Um,
Hmm.
Denver Jones no longer in the backcourt next to him, so he is definitely in for a jump. I also had Newman on my first team. I had Kyle Rode for Liberty. He's
Yeah.
their best remaining player, very good player in the A Sun. And I had two Louisiana Tech guys to round out my first team. I had Isaiah Crawford, returning all conference player, was their best player last year. And I had Daniel Bacho, was pretty solid at Texas Tech,
He
honestly.
was a good
So
player, man. I seen Louisiana Tech like seventh in these preseason rankings, which is shocking to me. Like I think that was really low, but we'll get into that. They're both on my second team. I have Elias King on my first team. I think someone's gonna have to take over as the number one guy with losing Eli Lawrence,
okay, I had him on
losing
my third team.
Leonard. I think he's gonna be the guy who is most likely to step up. And then as my last member, I have Terrion Murdix from Western
Okay, he's
Kentucky.
not playing this year. He remember he like
Oh,
tore his ACL and
I don't remember that.
remember because he got hurt at like the end of the season.
Uh, I didn't remember him in that game against Northwestern State, so that's probably why. Um, all right, well, I actually can just move
Yeah, so I didn't have him in
Isaiah
my transfer
Crawford up.
rankings either, but
We'll
yeah,
just move Isaiah Crawford up. Why not? Because he's a first team caliber
yeah.
guy.
Murray's is a very good pickup though. Like
He
didn't include him in
was.
any of
He's a
my
great defender
yeah.
too.
Next year
Um,
in 2024-25, he will be a very solid player for the
just
Hilltoppers.
unfortunate that happened.
Yeah. Um, but on my second team, I had Cameron Weston for Middle Tennessee, one of their better returning players, and I think their team will be solid overall. Um,
All right, I have Colin Porter of Liberty at guard.
okay, I had him in my third team.
Yeah. Definitely wasn't all the way on the hype train until maybe later on in the season where he really started to blossom and I could kind of see where the hype was coming from. He was hitting open shots. He was really creating good looks for others.
Yeah, very good decision maker.
Yeah, no, he's definitely in for a pretty big year for Liberty with McGee gone. So
hmm On my second team, another guard I had was Tay Hardy for UTEP. I think
I
he would
I
could
originally had him on second team, but I have a lot of good options here. I'm gonna go Femi Odekali from New
okay.
Mexico State.
I had him on my second team as well. It's still up in the air whether he will be eligible this year, but
Hmm.
I threw him in on my second team.
And then I have Dante Allen from Western
I had
Kentucky.
him there as well.
He's a good player.
Yeah,
I
and
I'm
yeah,
surprised. Kentucky, could have probably used him. So I thought he was even solid there for a bit. And then I moved Cameron Weston to my second team, because I had to switch Isaiah Crawford, and then I have Daniel Bacho from Louisiana Tech.
okay. Now my last guy on my second team was Calvin Solomon for UTEP. Was playing pretty good to end of the season, and I think that will contribute into a better year this year. Third team, I had Porter. I have Marcus Boykin for Sam Houston State. He's a D2 transfer point guard. Really filled up a stat sheet. Could
Mhm.
provide some instant offense for them and be really helpful there.
All right, I'm gonna go Tay Hardy over Zid Powell. I'm gonna take Zid off. I think Tay's a little better.
Yeah,
So
probably.
he's going to be my third team guard, and then I have Jalen Jordan of Middle Tennessee. He's redshirted the last 2 years.
Yeah.
He's been hurt. But 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I think now he was really good, and they're going to need some guard production, and he's going to be pretty high on the pecking order. So
Yes. Another guy I had was Kiki Tandy for Jacksonville State. It's another
I
guy
see, I
with
see him.
injuries, battled
Xavier.
injuries. He's been good when he was actually fully healthy,
Okay,
just never really been like that. I think he's clearly Jacksonville State's best player.
well,
And
definitely.
even though they're not going to be great, I think he could really put up some big numbers.
He's
Um,
decent. He's on my transfer list. I have Deshaun Gittins from FIU. I think he's in
okay.
for a really big season next to Arturo Dean. They don't really have. They have some JUCO guys that I
They have
think
a
they
ton
brought
of
in,
JUCO guys.
and I assume if I know Ballard, I know what kind of players they're going to be, and they're going to be good scorers. So we'll see how those minutes get distributed. But as far as the underclassmen last year that really showed signs, Gittins, and they had another guy that I really liked. That I think's on my breakout list. Okay, now I'll just look at the roster later, but
Okay.
yeah, no, Gittins is one of my favorites from last year.
Yeah, my last guy on my third team was Cameron Hefner from Sam Houston State. Um, Pretty skilled forward. I think could also take a jump with some of their main players departing.
So I
Um,
have Jalen Jackson of Western Kentucky.
okay,
Especially with Murdoch's out, definitely gonna
yeah,
have a good shot count this year and get a lot of shots. And then my last member, I have Mohamed Sanogo of FIU.
okay,
I really like him as a player. Amazing rim protector and athlete. His athleticism is something to behold. He can jump out the gym.
hmm
Him and Seth Pinkney are going to be splitting minutes as center, but they seem to prefer Sonogo last year. He
yeah.
started a lot of the games and he was really efficient too. So I really like him.
Yeah. So moving into our top 10 transfers, I'm assuming we both have Newman at
Yeah,
one.
I
I
had
had
Marnix
Bacho
at
at
two.
uh,
So I'll Bacho at two now.
I had Bacho at two. I had Odukala at three.
Yeah, I'll vote
Um,
at three now, just bumping
okay.
everyone up.
I had Tandy at four.
Um, I I had Jalen Jackson there, and I have
Okay.
Devin Ree of Louisiana Tech, who I'm
Come
really.
on. He didn't even get minutes at Louisville.
I mean, like
He didn't even play there.
that is, I guess, a red flag, but
That's the
it
biggest red
seems
flag
like,
you could have.
yeah, I mean, he's 6'8", like he's.
Well, if he was good, he would have at least played for. I mean, you realize how bad they were?
And again, like, can Kenny Payne really evaluate who's good on his roster and who's not? Like,
If Devin Ree was good enough, I think he would have
I'm
played.
afraid he gets some minutes, but I
He,
don't know.
he could
I
be
think,
okay at Louisiana Tech though.
yeah, he'll have minutes. So, I mean, I don't think he's
Maybe.
completely terrible.
Yeah, there's still some potential there for sure.
Mhm.
But five, I had Marcus Boykin.
So I just listed my sixth guy. Five,
Okay, so I
I
had Caden
guess.
Matheny at six from
Um,
Liberty, coming from Bowling Green.
yeah, that's
Solid offensive option that should fit in well with Porter in the backcourt there.
yep. So seven, I have Rodney Howard, Western
Okay,
Kentucky.
I had him at 10. Not
Um,
like that good, but also he's been an okay
yeah,
playable
he's
guy
been
at
all
high
right.
majors, so
At
you
number
take that.
at number eight, I have Kai Tandy.
Okay. I had Zid Powell at 8.
Okay. And then at nine, I have Jordan Turner from Louisiana Tech. Out of
Okay.
respect, he's been
Okay.
at a high
At
major.
7 I had Brandon Suggs from New Mexico State.
He's solid.
Don't think I said it. Yeah, I really liked him at East
ECU.
Carolina.
He
He
was
was
good
really
at
good there.
ECU.
I think he's a pretty solid overall like winning player, kind of.
He is.
And in 9 I had another New Mexico State guy, Kyosi Ezegu.
Yeah,
He's
I like
kind
him too.
of he been all over, was a good player on Sam Houston State last year. Um,
I have
so
Zid
yeah.
Powell at nine, Aziagu at 10. So
Okay. So pretty similar for the most part. Breakout players. One guy I have is Jaden Brewer for FIU, who didn't play a ton last year. I
that was
think
the other
he
guy, I think.
might have been
That
hurt
was
for a lot of the season, but he was like really good when he did play, was efficient, was scoring a lot. So I think that will if he gets the minutes and
one of the
he
few
should.
Liberty players I'm actually like a fan of that's been on the roster the last couple years is Joseph Vincent. He's
Okay.
somebody I really like on both ends. He's a really good defender. He does a lot of the dirty work. He doesn't get a ton of volume on offense, but now that Darius McGee is gone, I think that can change a little bit. I think
Yeah,
he's going to get more
I just didn't
looks.
have him in my breakout list because of like who he is. Like he's just not a guy it's like
Yeah,
you're gonna be asking to do much offensively.
but at the
But I
same
mean,
time, like
yeah.
everyone's volume is going to increase when McGee's
Yes,
gone.
I do
So
see that as well. I was considering having him on here,
I mean, his
but
volume and usage was just right.
yeah. Another guy I had was Justin Porter from Middle Tennessee. Not super efficient last year, but those are the kind of guys I look for that like were new to the team and like were taking a lot of shots, didn't really make a ton. And I think in his second year out of JUCO, I think he could be a more impactful piece, could replace some scoring they lost with like Lawrence. Yeah.
I have Kevin Kalu at UTEP.
Yes. I have him
He's
as well.
somebody I really like. Where's he from again? I gotta look up his stuff. I have all these.
UTEP.
You no, I
Um,
meant like, is he a transfer at all or?
no, he was there last year. He's
Oh, okay.
just a solid inside guy. He's going to be their starting big man,
That's true. Yeah, I
solid
saw they didn't
rebounder.
have much big man depth. That's why I put him there.
Yeah, that's
So,
what I did as well.
I have Gittins and Brewer on here.
Okay.
And then I have Jalen Jackson Posey of New Mexico State.
Okay.
He's coming in from Stephen F. Austin. He had pretty good minutes there. Was decently efficient. He averaged like 7 points a game, solid minutes. And I think he'll get some minutes at guard.
Yeah. Another guy I had was Lamar Wilkerson for Sam Houston State. I think like they just lost a lot in the backcourt. He was a solid scorer last year, so I think he could really break out there playing next to Boykin.
And my
Yeah.
last guy I have is Bob Carfay from Western Kentucky. I think
Okay.
the front court is a little not a ton of depth. So I feel
I
like
think they have the pieces. I just don't think they have like the very proven guys.
they're just
Really,
not entirely proven. And Faye was pretty good last year and
yeah.
limited minutes for
At
them. So.
Charleston, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, my last guy, I chose Christian Lander. I don't know how
Definitely.
to feel about this, but he's Steve Lutz. Like I don't know that he's gonna be. I don't have him starting, but like if he's ever gonna be good, now is the time. He's been
Now's the time
terrible
to
for the last
shine,
3 years,
baby.
but like you have a new coach, you have some momentum.
Wasn't he at
Um,
Indiana too?
yeah, he was like a 5 star. That's why
I
you don't
remember
reclass
he
for your
was
point
an
guard.
insane recruit.
Yeah, I
Then
mean
he was
he
at
was a
like
reclass.
Cincinnati, I think.
No, he just went straight to Western Kentucky last year.
Okay, all right,
Never
yeah.
really played at Indiana.
Yeah, I'm about to
Rob
say
Finney
he did
was the
not.
guy that went to Cincinnati.
That's right. That's right.
Who did nothing at Cincinnati, like
Yeah, of course.
literally nothing. But all freshman team didn't really love the freshman conference as a
No, man.
whole. Also doesn't help that there's only 9 teams, so there's less of a crop to pick from.
Freshman bigs, I
Liberty
pick
has
him
some
like
good freshmen though.
0. Yeah,
Liberty has some
I've
good freshmen. I picked two. One of them is a redshirt freshman, Ben Sutherland. Um, I think he'll probably be one of their first guys off the bench. Was a decently regarded recruit, and I mean, he's already been in the program for a year. I like
see,
how
I
um
wanted to pick him, but Liberty's so many 4s and 5s. Like they just have like all these
yeah.
Shiloh. They have like all these guys. Like they have what's the other guys do?
Isn't he more of like a 3 though? I have him.
Yeah, if you could flex him at the 3, then it could work.
Yeah,
But the 4s and 5s are loaded. I just didn't see the
yeah.
minutes. I picked J.C. Shire and Curtis Blair the third instead from Liberty, both of them. They're
Okay, I had Blair
guards.
on there.
I think they're gonna get minutes because again, that's where the minutes I think are on Liberty. I think Blair's like 6'5" or something, so you could put him at the 3, and I think he wouldn't
Okay.
completely get hurt. So and my another member I have is David Terrell Jr. from UTEP. I think he's gonna get some minutes off the bench for them. So yep, I have him.
Okay. Another guy I had was Luis Duarte from New Mexico State. I think he played like overtime late or something.
OT,
Had a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of like good
It's looking at him.
offers. Had a lot of good offers. I think he's pretty talented. I think
He
and
seems
with some of the waiver uncertainty with New Mexico State, I think he's a guy that
that is true. That's a good
play
point.
right away. I think he's older. I think he was originally in like 2022.
That's good.
So I kind of like a lot of the factors around him.
Mhm. That's
Another
good.
guy, I had another redshirt guy that's actually a transfer, and Elijah Jones from UTEP was an East Carolina transfer. I'm counting him as a freshman since he hasn't played yet. Redshirt freshman, so I think he'll be like their first guy off the bench or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so the forwards are a bit of an adventure for me, as there weren't really many good freshman bigs in this conference. I could have picked the one guy from New Mexico State, Yak or whatever his name
Oh
is.
yeah.
I didn't want to do that, but I have Tegan Moore of Western Kentucky.
Okay.
He's like a 3,100 point scorer. He's a good shooter, and they're gonna need shooting off the bench. So, maybe he contributes there. I don't know how many minutes will be available to him this year because, although again, if Murdoch's out, that definitely takes a starting job away, and that'll move everybody up on the ladder. So, that helps everybody on the depth chart. And then in my last, I have CJ Beaumont from Sam Houston State. I think he's a big
Mhm.
man for them. Again, he had like 11 points a game. I was really scrapping there, but he could be pretty high on their depth chart when it comes to bigs. So they didn't really have many forwards that I looked at. So
Yeah, my last guy, I went with Alex Odom for Jacksonville State. Scored a ton of points in high school. I think it'd be a solid combo guard option right away for Jacksonville State. They're lacking a bit of depth there, and I think he should carve out a solid role in year one. In-state prospect in Alabama there. So yeah, not a ton of like super highly
yeah,
regarded freshmen.
especially the front court. The front court's
I
really
mean,
like.
I don't do my freshman team positional at all because like I don't
Mm,
think there's a point in doing that, but. Um, to our individual team previews, we are starting with Jacksonville State first. I have them last.
I have them second to last.
Okay.
I think they have some talent here. I think
Yeah,
a
I
little
mean,
bit
like
more than
Tandy is
Sam Houston. So
Tandy is solid. He
Tandy's
should
solid.
be, but like,
They had a couple JUCO guys that could
hmm
be decent.
yeah, Andres
Yeah,
Burney and Caleb Johnson.
yeah. Caleb
Yeah,
Johnson looked good.
yeah. He's coming from a pretty good program, put up some good numbers.
But yeah,
But
no,
overall, like,
Jacksonville State was good 2 to 3 years ago, and then they lost all those guys, and they just haven't recovered. They had a really rough year last year. So I see another year of rebuilding. They just need to get talent in the building, and it's tough. That's probably a pretty tough job. I'm not gonna lie to you.
yeah,
Especially in a new
yeah.
conference, I don't know if they were ready for a jump. Like I know they had some years of success over there, but could they consistently get talent in the building? Like maybe Conference USA should have, but then again, they're a pretty good football program from what I hear. So they've been competing this year in college football, so maybe it was a football move. I don't know.
I mean, every conference alignment is football
Yeah, it
based,
is.
but yeah. I mean, they have like some people returning, like Juwan Purdue, Marcellus Brigham, like, but overall, like, I don't know. Quincy Clark is an okay transfer. I mean, you'll take
Where's he from
him,
again? I recognize that name.
Lipscomb.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, like,
Okay, he's
that's
decent.
fine. It's fine. Is he like a really a starting point guard caliber? Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe in
Probably
this
not.
conference. I don't know.
Not you mean he downgraded conferences or he upgraded conferences, I
Well,
mean,
I mean,
and
at the
didn't
bottom
really,
of this conference, he might be able to get away with it
yeah.
because
Overall, like, there's just not I really love here.
nah, yeah, same. There's a
Um,
clear bottom too, in my
okay.
eyes.
Um, but yeah, next team is Liberty, or just because continuing from the conference stuff, I had him third.
I had him
Um,
fourth. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I think they're still going to be really good. McGee is obviously a big loss, but they've been a good program, like with or without McGee. Richie McKay has been a pretty solid head coach in his days, and they still bring back a lot. Like they do lose
yeah.
McGee, but they bring back Porter, Van Zant, Rhodes, Shiloh
They
Robinson.
still
Like
got Shiloh
some
around.
guys have to bench. Brody Peebles,
I'm
Zach
shocked for
Cleveland.
another year. He needs to get a job.
Yeah, but I mean they have good freshman class. Matheny is a good
They do.
transfer. So yeah, I mean I like
I
this
originally had
team.
them higher, but then I looked at a team's roster and I'm like, I'm sorry, I have to put them over them. Um, yeah, I just worry about guards next to Porter. Brody Peebles has never really gotten it together. He's kind of been a disappointment. He was a pretty high recruit. I mean, remember he was recruited by Alabama a little bit. Pretty sure.
Really?
He was a very high recruit. I believe he was like a 4 star, and he's not even
He's
like broken the
hmm.
starting lineup. I mean, he got benched last year for Porter. Um, he didn't get a ton of time, so he's been disappointing, and this is a big year for him. If he wants to get minutes back, this is the year to do that. Like you got an opening with McGee gone. If he has good minutes, he's going to be put back in the starting lineup. I like their front court. Zach Cleveland's good too. Shiloh
Good.
Robinson,
Yeah.
um, Sutherland.
Yeah, they
Mm,
got Xander Gates from Creighton as well. I
yes, I
mean,
seen
he
that.
was a walk on at Creighton, but
Okay, yeah, I'm about
he
to say
was
I
like a
didn't think.
walk on that could have like gone scholarship at a mid major.
Right. Yeah, I
So
mean, great
he can play at
walk-ons.
Liberty.
Oh, for
Think
sure.
think Liberty fits him. He's more of a skilled big.
Yeah,
Can
and
shoot.
Liberty loves those kind of guys. So
Yeah, but yeah, they just need someone to take the step up because McGee's like his percentage of shots taken was like nearly 40, which was first in the country. So
yeah, I
like,
mean, I like Kyle Road. I mean, I hate
yeah,
Liberty, but so he's a good player, but like I don't think he should be your number one option. Like you need a two guard that can really
yeah,
shot create. Kyle Road is a guy who plays off of other guys. Like he got a ton of open looks from the attention McGee draw last year. He was a really good 3-point shooter. Like I don't think he missed a three when I watched a game. Like, he was always hitting shots. So I think Porter can do a good job of that, of creating looks for him, but maybe not the same level McGee does right away. I mean, McGee was a really
yeah,
gifted passer too. That's what he doesn't get credit for.
yeah. Yeah, he was pretty solid. Honestly, the X factor could be Peebles because
Yeah,
he's another guy that could actually like that would actually take a decent volume of shots. Like him and Rowe were like or probably
Yeah,
to.
Peebles has it in him, I think. It's
I
just
mean, he's a
like,
good shooter. I mean, he just couldn't get minutes last year where he was.
right.
Like
He's
he
had
shot
trouble getting
over.
minutes the last 2 years.
I
It's
mean, he
been a
shot over
thing.
40% from three, over 50% from two. I mean,
That's
90
pretty
from
good. Yeah,
free
I
throw
guess.
line. Like his efficiency numbers were good. Like he just needs.
Defensively, I guess it's kind of an issue. I don't know. I mean, there has to be some reason he's not getting minutes. And
Oh, because he was
Van
behind McGee.
Van Zandt started a good bit.
Yeah.
His defense, I mean, you can't
Yeah,
have him not
he's
on
a
the
really
floor.
efficient offensive player. He just doesn't like do much.
Yeah, he's their
He's really
Swiss
good
Army knife.
rebounder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's ever gonna not start. Um,
No, but yeah, Matheny is going to be a key to how well he like
you
takes
know,
the scoring. Like I think he's pretty good. I mean,
it's all right.
he can handle the ball. Good shooter. But yeah, Liberty's still going to be good. Not as good as they were last year, but they're still going to be like
Still be
borderline
pretty
top 100.
respectable.
Yes. Next team. Continuing with the new teams in conference, New Mexico State. I have them at fifth.
I had them at fifth too. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, a lot of it was just so much uncertainty. Like, Odukali needs a waiver. I think Clarence Jackson needs a waiver too, if I'm
Mm.
not mistaken.
How about Suggs? I think he needs a waiver.
I feel like he's a grad. He's been
Okay,
around for a while.
that is true. You might double check that, but UCF, East
Yeah. Yeah.
Carolina,
I mean,
the three schools would apply, but I think he is a grad,
yeah.
like you said.
I think like Jordan Rawls is probably a grad too.
Yes, that's another.
Jalen Jackson Posey, I think he's a one-time transfer, so don't know if he has to worry about any of that.
Okay, yeah, I think Suggs will be a grad this year. Yes.
Yeah.
ESPN always has their years outdated. That's a, that's a signature.
Yeah, but they got Robert Carpenter too. They just got some random guys
Yeah,
like
I was actually thinking of putting Robert Carpenter on my all conference teams, but then obviously he went to Mississippi Valley
he
State.
was low key like really
But
good
he
there.
was though. He's six
But like
seven.
he
He's
also
definitely
didn't
got some
play that many
skill.
games. Like
That too.
he was getting buckets here though. They
He
also got Davian
was.
Bradford, who will like absolutely not be eligible, but just like such an odd pickup. Like they
I don't.
just got him out of nowhere.
I think just stashed him. He wasn't gonna play much anyway. I actually don't
I
think.
mean, I think
Iziaku
he
is their
could compete.
starter.
Did they play together at K State?
Oh yeah,
And
shoot.
I think Bradford was better then. I mean, Bradford got worse in the past. Like
Yeah, he has.
he's kind of on a downhill turn. But
Um,
let me
it
check
says
this.
Jordan Rawls is a senior here.
Yeah, I
On
mean that doesn't exactly equate to grad transfer. Like not
That's
like
true. I
perfect.
mean, these
But
things are
I
never
don't think he's a
accurate.
guy that needs a waiver for some reason.
Iziaku's a grad.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean when they played at K State together,
they say Suggs
Bradford
is
was
a
a better
senior,
player. Yeah, I mean senior doesn't exactly mean grad transfer,
but I
but
think he would be a
um
grad if I'm doing the math.
yeah,
Like
probably.
fifth year.
I
Yeah.
mean people don't necessarily always graduate when they're supposed to, but
Right.
they got a good freshman class or good two freshmen. Keelan Dorsey's good.
Yeah, I was looking at him.
Maybe Yak is good. Um,
Go.
Intriguing prospect at least with his
He
size and
is.
length. Um, Jaden Harris is a JUCO guy that should be in the rotation right away. Christian Cook, a D2 guy, should be in the rotation right away. So there's a lot of talent on this team, and talent is a thing New
Jalen
Mexico State
Jackson
always
Posey
has.
too. He's going to be in
Yeah,
the
him too.
rotation.
Think he was like the six man year in the conference like 2 years ago or something.
Okay.
So yeah, like they have a ton of talent, but they have 0 minutes returning. So
Yeah, and they need to get
not
Odakali.
that's a bad not that that's a bad thing in that situation. That's a
I'm
very
about to
good
say
thing.
that's actually a big positive.
But like you're just bringing in like so many new pieces. Like how does this all fit together? Like you don't know.
I really think though, like Jason Hooten is going to be one of the best coaches in mid-major basketball
Hmm.
very soon. I think he is a real up and coming name. He's successful on both ends of the ball too. Like he's a terrific defensive coach, but they can score as well. Like he's had seasons where Sam Houston State was a good offensive team under with Savion Flagg and others too. So
Okay. Who's this guy? Jonathan Kayanga. It
he's
says
like
you
from
ever
Democratic Republic of the Congo. Yeah.
well, he's where I'm trying to figure from Edward Waters.
He played some D1
You
schools
ever
last year, apparently. I looked at it.
let me look this up.
He played two
Um
games against some 51s.
Played versus FAMU and
Yeah.
North Carolina A&T. He's a dominant rim protector. I don't know
Yeah,
if he's
that's what I
actually gonna
hear.
play. I don't think
Um,
Edward Waters was that good, but like he was a dominant rim
Apparently he is
protector.
like an insane shot
He averaged
blocker.
like
But
4 blocks per game.
damn, that's
That
6'9"
that's
too.
that's crazy.
Uh,
So that could uh that could help. Edward Waters, I don't know if they were in NAI or D2. I think they were like in the
I've never
transition
heard of
period.
him.
Um, so I'm not like super high on like him being an impactful player just because of where he's coming from. But I mean, that's just something of note. But I don't know how his team is gonna play. Odu Kale is key if he gets a waiver. Like, I think he's a guy that can really make a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
He's been up and down so far in his career, but really has shown what he can do at times.
Hmm.
Very good defender. Yeah.
Veteran leader, which they'll need.
Yeah. Moving on to Sam Houston State. I have him at 7th.
I got them last.
That's too low. They were really good last year, and they still return like a little bit.
They got Jalen
Like,
Ray, sure, but like
I mean, they
outside
have
of that,
like,
missing
they
Quagga,
brought in some good pieces too. They
missing
brought in like
Quagga.
Marcus Boykin. Marcus Boykin really filled it up at the D2 level. Like Devon Barnes was a pretty good player at Texas Southern. They got Suleiman Dombia, who never played at TCU, but is like a huge dominant big man. Was like the number one JUCO guy, I think. Um, they got good guys off the bench, like the guys off the bench from last year, like Damon Nicholas, Jaden Ray, Kyle Scroggins.
So,
Like it's not a ton here, but I think they're far from last considering how good they were last year. And even though they lost a lot of those reasons, I think having like a coach who's still familiar with
it
the
hurt
program.
where usually these team websites have the JUCO stats on the website. I didn't even see Boykin stats. Yeah,
Oh, he's a
whatever.
D2 guy, not
I
JUCO.
know, yeah, D2 or whatever. The stats weren't even there. How Lewis Rowe any good?
Um,
BMI.
let's see. No, not really. He averaged like 3 and 4 at JUCO.
Well, gosh.
But
Yeah, no, I don't know. I just want to
I
see.
mean, they were really good last year.
They were.
I don't think they're going to be
Qua
terrible.
Grant was so valuable
Quay
though,
Grant,
like
yeah,
on both ends.
yeah.
Amazing
He
scorer,
was elite.
elite defender. I
So
mean,
was Javion May was a really good defender
he
too.
was. Yeah, they just had clamps everywhere. When they
But
beat Oklahoma and Utah to start the year, that was on the road too. That was something.
mm-hmm. They had a borderline like top 20 defense in the country. That's crazy.
Yeah, I
Right
don't
there.
definitely believe that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're gonna be worse than Jacksonville State.
Mm, I don't know. I just have to see the collection of talent here.
Yeah,
It's a lot that I'm
different
not
group.
familiar with, admittedly.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess we'll see how this turns out. A lot of if Dombia is good, then that'll be big.
Mhm.
Hefner, I think he could take a jump offensively. So could Wilkerson. So I guess we'll see. A lot of unknowns though. Not as many unknowns as New Mexico State. They have all unknowns, but there's still a fair amount of unknowns. And unknown with the coaching too. Mudge has never been a head coach at D1 level that I'm aware of. So yeah, next team UTEP. I have them 6th.
Yeah, I have them seventh.
Okay,
I just
I
don't like
mean
their coach, admittedly. I'm not really a
he
fan.
was good at Abilene Christian. He's not a bad coach.
Yeah, here's his limitations
He won a
though. And
tournament game at Abilene Christian.
yeah. Last year, I don't know. They disappointed. Like they just have
Yeah,
no offensive, and it was kind of like this at Abilene too. Their defense carried them, like, and they were a good team, like
and
for
they were
what
a
they
really good
were.
defensive team last year too. I
Um,
mean, it's
they
their
were.
offense, but
It's just offensively, like if they were even decent, they would be good. Like they're just so bad on that end, and they have players. They do. Like it's a lack of scheme. They don't run any sets. It's just ISO ball. Like you got to be at least decent on the offensive end. And I think
yeah,
and Tay Hardy isn't really that efficient. Zid Powell isn't really that efficient.
he can get buckets though.
They can. But I just
Um,
worry it's just going to be just like last year on offense, just a bunch of shot chucking, and that's not what I really want. They could lose some
yeah.
games if they play that way. Like, um, yeah, I don't know. They have some talent though. Like Dave Otis Frazier. They have
Hmm.
Calvin Solomon. They have Baylor Head from Colorado State. uh,
Is he? I don't think he'll be eligible though.
is this third school?
Yeah, he played at Loyola. I want to say.
Um, all right,
I
yeah,
want
but
to say it's where he
Zid,
played.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Zid and Hardy, be
Corey
efficient.
Camper, Juku had to put up some good
Yeah, I've
numbers.
seen that.
Um,
David Terrell Jr. is the freshman I like. Um,
yeah. Elijah
we
Jones
have
should be
some,
good.
yeah.
Coming from East Carolina, where you know, re-redshirted. So yeah, I mean, this team is okay. I don't dislike the team, but defensively, they're still going to be really good.
Hmm.
Offensively, well, we'll see. Golding is definitely a defensive-minded coach, which he is
Yeah,
very good at. He's very good
he
at that.
is. And UTEP fans, like they talked to me last year about Golding, and they do love him on defense. They just offensively, it's just
Yeah,
such an adventure. But there are some coaches like that.
he is a better in-game coach than Rodney Terry.
You know what? I can see that. Ronnie
He
Terry
doesn't get
set
the
the
same
bar pretty
talent.
low there.
He didn't get the same talent, but like
Ronnie Terry
we'll give
wasn't
it a
good
few
on
years.
defense or offense. So you know what? There you go.
Yeah. Next team is um who's next team is Louisiana Tech. I have them at second. Um,
Wow. Okay.
where
I
do you?
thought I was the only one hyping up Louisiana Tech here. We both know ball, man. I have them third. I have them
Okay,
third. But you
okay.
know what? I'm really happy with
I
that. The
originally had the middle.
preseason,
I originally had the middle lower, but then moved him up once I looked more into the roster.
I
Honestly,
love the roster. The preseason is really underrating them. I think they
mm,
had them like sixth or seventh, which is
really,
unreal to me.
Bacho is good.
He is, man. Like he was a highly coveted transfer in the portal, and
Like he was
Louisiana Tech
absolutely
just stole him.
a high major caliber guy. Like
And
he
I think what
definitely could
makes
have.
Louisiana Tech like a really annoying team is how physical they are. They are a physical team on the glass, and that's not going to change this year with Daniel Bacho. Like they're going to be a team that
No.
just physically, they will wear you down.
Yeah,
And,
Bacho's an elite rim protector, very efficient, good rebounder.
and they're
Like
really deep at big too. So like they'll just throw bodies at you.
yeah,
And I like their guards. Like Isaiah Crawford, is a good player. They bring in some other guys too. They bought in someone from Charleston Southern who I
yeah.
like a
Talik
bit.
Chavez. He's not like
Solid.
that good, but he can shoot.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
he's a
he's not
shooter.
for what he is, he's not bad. Tyler Henry from Southern Indiana is a pickup I like. Um Drayvon Magnum is again one of those physical guys, 6'8", 200. Sixth year, apparently it says here. So then Devin Reed from Louisville, we'll see. But again, 6'8", he's got great size. You see all the size
Hmm.
on this roster. Sean
I
Newman Jr. is
I
from
think he
Fulton
could be good.
College.
Fullerton
Um,
was really good last year.
yeah, they were a high quality
Like
school.
they
So
sent a lot of guys to D1. They
even
sent
if
a
he
guy to
didn't
like
have amazing
Wyoming.
numbers, like that's a good
He had
program with
good numbers though.
pedigree.
I
And
mean,
he did. Yeah,
13, 4, and 6 on a
it's not
really
bad.
good California JUCO. I mean, California JUCOs aren't the same caliber as some of the NJCAA, but
Yeah.
like he's still pretty good.
And they got Jalen Henderson, who was pretty
Yes,
good. I looked
another
at.
JUCO guy. Tyler Henry was okay at Southern Indiana.
Hmm.
Jordan Turner,
Again,
maybe
he
by
was
his
at Baylor
potential.
for like 4 years,
Like he never did
apparently.
anything, but it's you. There are worse things you can do than taking a shot on him.
That's for sure. They
So,
got Will Allen, who didn't play much. And then they got Isaiah
yeah,
Crawford and Jordan Crawford.
yeah. Isaiah Crawford, a star in the conference. I mean, was only returning all conference player from last year. Jordan Crawford should be a solid point
Improved
guard
player
option.
efficiency wise too, I
Yeah, I
think.
mean, he was very inefficient, but I mean, I think he can get better with. I mean, wasn't
They
was
had
he a
that
he
one
was a
really good
freshman last
player
year?
last year who transferred out. I was thinking he
Kobe
would be that.
Williams.
No, actually, they had somebody else I really liked.
Let's
Keaston
see.
Willis. I
Yeah,
loved
okay.
Keaston
Yeah,
Willis.
those
He
guys
is
both followed their coach back to Tulsa.
He is some talent.
He's
Um,
pretty good.
yeah, for sure. You see flashes of real athleticism with him and things like that.
Yes, they did lose a lot, but I like the piece they brought in. I
I
think
do. I think
this
they're going
is
to really have an identity this year. Them in Middle Tennessee, man, they're going to be wars. Like they're going to beat each other up.
especially with Bacho. Like,
Yeah. And Middle Tennessee is the same way, man. They just crashed the glass.
yeah, Crawford I think is going to get better though. He was a freshman
He
last
is.
year, was inefficient, whatever, but like,
I definitely see a step up from him. That's part of the reason I really like them.
yes,
You
yeah,
know what? I'm actually going to move them up to second. I have my issues with Middle Tennessee, and
okay,
they're just, I don't know, they're a bit iffy offensively. And if you watched them last year, you kind of know what I mean. And they were
yeah,
with TFL and those two guys there. So without them, it could be even a little more adventurous.
yeah,
I just think, yeah, they'll be good on defense too, but I like Louisiana Tech a little bit more on offense.
yeah.
And that's why I'm going to give them the edge.
Next team, FIU. I have them eighth.
So as we were, had our different opinions on UTEP's coach, I actually don't hate Ballard
I don't
completely.
hate him either.
Um, I actually
Yeah,
think they're going to be six this year. I don't hate the
okay.
roster. They
I
did
just,
lose a good bit, obviously, with
I
Denver
mean,
Jones.
Jones. I
Um,
mean, he was really their only like, they had like
but I see Arturo
blood around him,
Bean
but
taking a huge step up. I see Deshaun Gittens
yes,
taking a big step. They still have their rim protection with Seth Pinckney and Sonogo. They bought in a lot of these JUCO guys I don't know a lot about, but if I know Ballard, I know they're going to be able to score the basketball, like I said
yes, that
earlier.
is what a lot of these JUCO guys are known for. But a lot of these guys are coming from like
Bad
smaller
JUCOs.
JUCOs,
Yeah,
like not even
that's what I
like not even
figured.
like D1 JUCOs, like D2 and D3 JUCOs. So I think that
I didn't hear
could,
about a lot of these. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know a
Polk
ton about
State's
all
good
these
though.
guys,
I
but
heard about Polk
um,
State.
yeah, they're decent. I think I have that guy in my starting lineup. I don't know if he's actually going to start, but yeah,
And
Giddens was a
Pitar
freshman last year.
Kravatovich is decent. Like I
Mm,
don't know. He has his games where he's hitting shots and he has games where he's not at all. Like he's very bipolar. This
yes,
Dante Wilcox guy is intriguing. I don't know much about him. Javante Hawkins is actually okay. I don't hate him either. But
yeah, they should be deep. This team should be
Gittens and
deep.
Brewer are the big X factors to this team. If they can really take a step up, I think they're going to be pretty good. Like
Yes.
you have to worry about Dean,
Dean's
Brewer,
going to be
and
amazing.
Gittens. Those three scorers, that could be a headache to defend.
They should have some
So
really good rim protection too.
for
They
sure,
got
Sonogo and Pinckney are
Snogo,
both really
Pinckney,
good
and they
athletes.
also got Okechukwu Okiki from Tallahassee Community College, which is like that's like the one top tier JUCO. Like I
It's
know,
funny. I think Seth Pinckney was in my graduating class. Like he is so old, dude. He has been in school forever, and he went to my rival high school in Archbishop Wood.
really,
So
I
he's
do
been around
remember
forever.
I do remember one article I read a few years ago where Sean Paul ranked Pinckney above Marcus Carr in the top transfers. I every time I think of Seth Pinckney, I can't unthink that. That will forever be in my mind.
Oh yeah, he played a post grad season at Montverde, so he technically was class of 2018 in high school. Okay, yeah, that's
But
fine.
yeah, like Okiki is a guy. I'll find his offers that he had. Like he had some big time offers, like K State, Wichita State, DePaul, Arizona State, Memphis, Maryland. Yeah, I mean some other decent mid
Jonathan
places.
Ibar as well is a good pickup.
He was decent
I
in North
like him.
Florida.
Good
Can work with
efficiency,
him.
physical. I just don't know where his
Um,
minutes will be with
I don't know
Sonogo.
where a lot of these guys meant to be. I don't see any like this is a deep team, which I don't like. I honestly love depth, like to an extent.
No,
Like
depth can
sometimes
be a negative. I don't
there
think
can
people
be
understand
teams
that.
with too much
Like,
depth.
because then you have to rely on the coach to make rotational decisions, and that's not always a good thing.
Yes.
Because I think Ballard does love Hawkins and that Peter guy a little too much. Like they played a lot last year, more than they
Yeah.
should.
Um,
And I feel like they might start some games if I'm gonna be honest with you.
yeah, I
Um,
mean, I don't have a
I hope
problem.
I
I
hope
mean,
I hope Gittens and Brewer start right away. That would be the right move. But I mean, I don't know. Like, we'll
yeah.
just have to see what Jeremy Ballard is cooking. But again, offensively, his teams are fun. They're fun. They
Yes.
spread the floor out, which I like. But defensively,
Hmm.
of course, they're an adventure. um,
Yes.
oh yeah, they're gonna be a fun
Dean
roster. I
will be
watched a
really
lot of
good
them
though.
last year. Actually, they were fun at the end of last
Yeah,
year.
they were like low key pretty fun last
I
year.
always watch Denver Jones. I always enjoy watching Denver Jones and Dean.
They
They
took
played
like
UAB
they beat
really
UAB and then
tough.
they took FAU to overtime next game. Both of those games were
Mm,
overtime. Like they had some real
they came
ups.
on the end of last year, no doubt. They had some decent wins too.
Yeah, up and down, but
Let's
yeah.
see who we got next.
Next, Western Kentucky. I had them first.
Yeah, I got first,
A lot of people don't have them first.
which
Like
is
it's not like a
shocking.
super common. Like I see a lot of like third and fourth, which like it's understandable, but I think
You
people
know
are
what?
missing
I
out.
won't call it shocking either. If Murdix is out, I could see a world where that happens.
Yeah, but like
That
they
is a
still
decently lost, but
like
at the
they didn't
same
have.
time,
I
I
had
trust
them
Steve
first before
Lutz.
they got Murdix
Okay.
because he was like he didn't commit until recently. I mean, not like super recently at this point, but like he was
I
a
think without
really late
Murdix, it's still
portal.
our first, but I think the gap is a little closer.
I
Um,
think Don McHenry can be good
yes, I was looking at him.
because
Um,
like he's a JUCO All American point
I
guard.
didn't see minutes with him if Murdix was healthy. Now I do see some minutes for him.
Yeah, I mean I have him starting honestly.
Okay. You know what? I could see that.
Um, he played his
I
freshman
mean,
year
what are
at
you gonna do? Start
Hawaii
Christian
Hilo.
Lander?
No, no. But yeah, he was a first team JUCO All American, which is pretty high praise.
No matter really where you play, like
Yeah, Enoch Callaway, another guy from the same JUCO, Indian Hills, definitely a top
that is
junior
a good one.
college.
Yeah. I've
That's a good
seen like
one.
everybody from in every one of our conference previews, someone was from Indian Hill is in
Yeah,
there.
trying to think
Um,
of like like they've had some good players. Like Javon Hadley was from there 2 years ago. Um,
oh boy, good old
he's
Hal.
good.
Yeah,
He's good.
he's a player.
He's good. Um, I'm trying to search up like a list of if I can find like a list of
There were some big men in the
guys
last
they've
conference
had.
we did that were garbage, but they were at Indian Hill and they just didn't play because they were so good.
Yeah.
But they still went D1.
Yeah, that one guy that averaged like 1.7
Yeah.
points per game.
He
I
was
forgot
there.
who he's on, like Old Dominion. Yeah, that guy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He could get him some like rim protection, like 5 minutes a game,
Sure.
like
I just
low key
wasn't
though.
sure like, if that was a good thing or not. But in
But
Indian Hill,
yeah, like
really, really
when they're taking guys like that, that's pretty noteworthy. Yeah.
mhm,
But besides the Indian Hills guys, I also have a lot of other good transfers, such as Brandon Newman, who I think could really be a star at this level.
mhm.
Rodney Howard was okay at the high major level, not amazing, but could play. Jalen Jackson was decent.
Or
Was playing good at the end of the season once Murdix was out. Um,
Dante Allen, I love. I think
yes,
he's
Dante
been very
Allen, Bobby Carfai is another good transfer.
mhm.
Um, so yeah, even though he lost a ton of talent, like I think the coach is what matters. That talent wasn't a problem. I think there's still a lot of talent in this team.
And I think they had the clear cut best coach in the conference. And I think that does mean
Let
a
me
good bit.
see. Hooten's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say Hooten's close.
McKay's pretty good.
McKay's third for me. For me.
Okay. Okay. I need to see Let's prove it though. Like he needs to like actually if he wins this year, maybe.
In a good conference, because the Southland is a shitty
Like
conference.
he it's not like he was like dominating the South and he just won both
Yeah.
conference tournaments.
Yeah, okay.
Not that he wasn't extremely impressive. Well, he has a good assistant history too, but
We'll see.
yeah, but this team has some real talent. Obviously you still got Lander, like Dante Allen, like it's a lot of former high major guys in this team.
Mm. And I think
A lot
Brandon
of
Newman,
talent.
someone who got the short end of the stick at Purdue. Like I think
Yeah.
he could have started some years, but he
Mhm.
wasn't really looked highly upon by Matt Painter for whatever reason. And I think
Yeah.
he's really gonna play with the chip on his shoulder this year, and really prove that he can be because he's a great shot creator. I think he's very capable of being a number one option at this level. So
Yeah, let's see. Middle Tennessee. I have him third.
yeah,
Um,
I think third.
Actually, I have him fourth. I'm at Liberty third. But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're a solid team. They obviously lose some big players to the high major level,
Where I can
such
give
as
them the edge over Liberty is they got a lot of big bodies. They're gonna be really physical. Liberty does have a lot of front court depth, right? But like And especially like also like at the guard spot, Liberty is going to struggle on defense. I think that somewhere Middle Tennessee is going to be still very good. Is
Yeah.
defensively on the perimeter. That's one of their calling cards. You know what you're going to get from Middle Tennessee on defense most games. It's on offense is where it can get very adventurous.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have Chiaffa anymore, but I think they're still going to be a solid
Oh
defensive team
yeah, I'm
overall.
they
Like
got they got
he
Elias King who's definitely gonna be able to defend. They
mm,
got Justin who's probably a pretty decent defender. Um,
Jared Coleman Jones is a big
yeah,
guy.
I mean they have
Um,
some absolute beast.
Ogundele is a big
I'm about to
guy.
say Iowa legend.
Big Jelly. Um, yeah. Let's
And they
see
have
what
good
else.
shot creating. Like I like Jalen Jordan. They got King. They got Porter. I just the thing with them is they're not going to be insanely efficient. They got Ty Mosley from Mississippi Valley State. I mean, 6'5" though. I mean, I
Yeah,
guess.
I mean, you don't really want to take Mississippi Valley State guys, but he was like not terrible.
Yeah, he's a good depth piece at the very worst. They have O'Shell Jackson. He's a junior in the Bronx. I think he
Yeah.
was community college last year.
Yeah, I mean Mosley was actually a really efficient player. Like he shot like 63% true shooting percentage. Like has a good size. Like
I'm
yeah,
about to say, I
maybe you
mean,
don't want to take guys that like started half the games at Mississippi Valley State, but
oh,
he is a really efficient offensive player.
this guy was an
Shot.
NGCAA All Region, 13, 11, 6'8", 210
Let's see, you're
in
talking
New
about
York.
Ozell
O'Shell
Jackson.
Jackson.
Yeah. He
That's
has
another
intriguing
big
stats.
body.
I haven't watched him, but he averaged 14, 11, and 5.
Yeah, it's just again,
So,
he's going to be great on the glass. Like this team's going to be fantastic
mhm,
on the glass. Um,
yes. Um,
so that's just something that I always like in a team,
Jacob Johns from LIU.
especially when they're not a good 3-point
Mm,
shooting team. So they're going to need to get rebounds.
yeah.
That's always been like another thing. Cameron
S-
Weston too. That's
Yeah.
another.
He's gonna be pretty good. Justin Bufford, not really a high usage guy, but
They could have
he's
really used like an efficient guard in the portal from like a decently high major school. Like that really could have made this team better.
yeah. But
Efficiency is the
Bufford is
one.
efficient. He just doesn't like really. He's a very low usage guy. Can shoot a
Uh,
little bit. But yeah, I mean yeah, I guess they have good guards though. I mean, if you're betting on that Jordan is finally healthy,
Oh, for sure. I hope he is. If he is, I think they can definitely top three. I think it's very attainable.
yeah, yeah. I mean, overall, I think it's a solid team. Nick
Yeah, I see
McDevitt
them
has
being
been a
top
good
two,
coach.
which again, like if they got maybe another
I could see
efficient
that.
scorer, I would put them top two, definitely.
I could see a world where
But
that
no,
happened.
definitely no. Like they're not far away at all.
Um, yeah, McDevitt has really been a solid coach these past
He's
few
been good
years.
there. Uh,
Yes.
he's turned them around, even though last year was a bit frustrating because they had a lot of games won.
Yeah, he was like on the hot seat. They were just like terrible. Then they randomly like were top 100, and now he's
I
good.
remember. Yeah, yeah. Hey,
Um,
you found something.
it's working now. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they went from 3-13 to
Yeah, they were
13
bad
and
for a
5 in
while.
conference in 1 year. But yeah, anything else really about a conference? Small conference, not super fun, but it also is
For what it is,
intriguing enough.
top five, top six will be good.
Yeah.
Um, Outside of that, probably not going to be watching, but I mean, yeah, no, I think this is a mid-major conference that'll kind of get lost in a lot of other conferences. Like it's not like unless Western Kentucky and maybe another team can really step up and be a really good mid-major, but I mean, we'll see. I think Western Kentucky is near top 100. Did you have them top 100? I
Not
think they're a little
quite.
outside. I think they're a little outside.
Yeah.
I agree, especially with Murdoch's out.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're kind of close. They don't have that amazing elite team at the top, but Western Kentucky is really good. Um, Still,
Hmm.
I could see them getting lost in the other flashy mid-major conferences.
Hmm.
That like the Sun Belt is going to be really fun. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there'll just be other conferences I watch before this one, admittedly.
I agree, but still some solid
For
teams.
sure.
Yeah, but yeah, anything else? I mean, let's see. Next up is probably the AAC
That is going to
conference.
be a fun one. It
That is
is.
going to be a fun one.
It's a lot actually. Like, I liked what Latham said yesterday. There's like some qualities of the Sun Belt there with I think Tulane and the way they'll play this year. I think Tulane has a golden opportunity this year.
It could be decent.
They finally get rid of a team that absolutely owned them in Houston. They just could not get over that hurdle. They played well against everyone else except Houston. Um, so like they could battle for a bid. Like I definitely think so. Like FAU and Memphis are clear the top two, but like Tulane has the talent to play with them for sure. Like they're they're a special team, and I hope they make it because I've been rooting for them because they used to be a bad program, and anyone who's really a bad program, I always try and get behind. You know, when they're trying to turn things around. So
Yeah. So yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit that like, subscribe button, and turn on post notifications so you know when we're posting all of our other videos, you'll see them right away. Follow along for our top 100 countdown as well. Less
19.
than 20 days till the season. Yeah, 19. Texas A&M.
Okay, that's a
Um,
fair spot for them. I'm not even that high on them. I just like that you don't have them like top 10, like I've been saying, because
no,
that
Wade Taylor is really good though.
I'm not the biggest Wade Taylor
He's
guy.
really good.
Let's see.
We'll talk about that in SEC preview,
I
but
think Tyrese Radford will be better, and that's the biggest thing for them.
then
They
Wade
they need him
Taylor.
to be better. No, I think Radford's gonna have
Okay.
a better season than he did last year because he was not great last year.
Yeah. Yeah, but make sure to follow our social medias too, Hoop Scoop Media, Instagram, and Twitter. And yeah, we will see you probably the next day after whenever this is posted for the AAC preview.
Yeah, I'll take